Friday, so we're going to talk tech. In response to media claims that had said hackers had taken control and replicated its website, intercepting customer data, Guaranteed Trust Bankers, Guaranteed Trust Holdings, GTCO, has said that there was an attempt on its website. However, it says that that was an isolated attempt. There it is right there. Clarification on news reports regarding the bank's web domain and customer data. They say that while there was an isolated incident of an attempt to compromise our website domain, we would like to assure all our customers and stakeholders that the bank's website has not been cloned, and we do not store our customer information on our website, and as such, there has been no instance of compromise of customer data. So, banking transactions in Nigeria, online, safety. We have Bolu Abiodun, who's a senior reporter with Tech Points Africa, joining us now to discuss. Bolu, it's good to finally meet you in person.
Thank you so
much. We've been talking too much online because we're tech people.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? What happened here?
I think it's just basically an extension of something we've been seeing since last year, which is a lot of reports on, security breaches on a lot of banking and financial institutions, and we've been seeing a lot of that since last year. Last month, I actually I looked at some of those cases, like one-off cases about fraud, and I calculated everything, and it came out to about 84 billion naira that have been lost between 2024 and 2023 when it comes to breaches on financial institutions. The funny thing is that figure is actually very conservative.
Right, it could be higher.
Yeah, it's actually definitely higher, and that's because the situations I was looking at were the ones where media reports where we see, oh, this was lost to a certain hack that was done by this, and it does not include the ones that we do not know about, right? And you see banks always have these reports where they tell you the amount of money they lost to fraud, right? They don't tell you actually what happened, right? But they give you these figures. But it's even these figures that they give you, they aren't always accurate. And I was talking to someone at NIBS recently, and the truth is...
That's the interbank settlement system, right?
Yes. Yeah. The truth is, when a bank tells you they lost 10 billion naira to fraud
it could be 20.
It could be 20. Always multiply by 2, right? And it just goes to show you that there's a problem. In all fairness, to be fair, it's not a Nigerian thing.
It's global.
It's global, right? I think over $450 billion was lost, fraud, acts, scams, globally, right? Some reports will tell you that figure is even higher. But the peculiar thing about the situation in Nigeria is the way it happens, right? It happens in a way that really begs that there needs to be a lot of concern, right? Imagine the one that happened earlier this year with First Bank, where an employee was able to make away with about $40 billion, 40 billion naira, rather. That is, that case was really, really, it just blows your mind, right? And then it goes, you now know that, okay, it's not just outsiders. I think the thing is, it's not just outsiders that you need to worry about when it comes to financial services, breaches on financial services in Nigeria. It's the insiders, which is more worrisome.
Because that was an inside thing, right? The first one, yeah. So with respect to GTCO here, like I don't bank in websites. I use the app, right? Can we separate because you got the two-factor authentication on the apps and so on. I know not everybody has a smartphone, but is there a difference there between using the website versus your own secure app on your smartphone? Because to compromise me, you'd have to get access to the phone. How do you see the dynamic within the apps and the?
I spoke to a couple of developers, and it's different based on how that enterprise has set up their systems, right? What GTCO is saying is we do not store data on our website, so there's nothing can really go wrong in such a situation, right? But then something you need to also note is that if there was an attack on their website, right, which means say someone was able to get control of that website, mirror that website, people go to that website
thinking it is the authentic one.
Right. I checked the website not long ago. It seems like it's backup, but I'm not going to impute anything until I'm absolutely certain that website is owned and controlled by GTB. Because once I enter my details, whoever set up that platform has those details. And then the thing with using the online platforms and not using the apps is that it goes a step further, because once I input that data, they could send some type of attacks where your data on other platforms, like
right,
every other, they can get everything, because now we store, I mean, me for example, about 200 passwords on my Google account, because I always forget.
And see, this is the thing. I had that issue, right?
Okay.
And I shouldn't say this publicly. I have one password now, but then I switch the characters and numbers.
You really should not say that publicly.
Exactly. So if somebody was to get access, but I can't have 300 passwords for. You see, this is why. Look, I don't want to promote gadgets. Certain phones now use your facial recognition, and in fact, they've linked it to password. So instead of putting in a password, it recognizes your face, then you can enter your bank app or enter your whatever. So
biometrics makes sense.
Biometrics, thank you.
It makes sense, but it still needs that primary layer, because biometrics is a secondary layer.
Yeah.
Right. If you are being honest, I mean, today on my laptop, if I'm about to enter a website where the password just pops up, I still need to enter my fingerprint.
Right.
So, but that just protects in case I'm not the one using the laptop, right? Then that's where biometrics comes in. But if someone is able to remotely get access,
right, then the secondary part is problem. It's like getting over the fence of a house.
Exactly.
And then if the
you have access to the entire house.
Right, exactly. Well done.
So it's crazy.
Very quickly, Bolu, the jackpot situation we've seen, Nigeria has a lot of sharp, like yourself, tech people. The banking sector hires a lot of them. Can we point to that as to any issues with staffing and having the proper software developers in their ranks to protect against these kind of things? Are they being impacted by what's been happening?
There's really no data to support it, but I will not absolutely disregard it, because based on what I've seen, based on what I've heard, a lot of these talents are leaving. They are leaving the country, they are leaving financial institutions. I mean, I know for a fact that some top financial institutions are now hiring from places like Pakistan, India, right? And that's because the Nigerian guys are leaving, right? And you can't put it past, some of the reasons why we're having these issues, why we're having these cases. Because on one hand, there's the social engineering cases. On the other hand, there's also the technical cases where, because your security systems are not robust enough, people are able to breach you. And that only happens when you don't have the best of the best cybersecurity guys or people who are supposed to make sure that these things don't happen. So yeah, the jackpot thing could possibly, I strongly think, yes, it could be one of the reasons why we've been seeing a lot, and I mean a lot actually, a lot of breaches of financial institutions recently.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I can't keep my money under a mattress, right? So Nigerian banks, I think generally, is still the best place to keep your money, and still relatively safe. But these breaches, they are a very important thing we need to be talking about.
And another thing is regulators also need to play a role.
Yeah.
Because there was a report last year by NIBS where they said about only 37% of financial institutions that have been affected actually report that they've been affected.
So disclosure needs to be increased.
Yes, and there's a CBN circular from 2015, establishment of fraud desks, where you are required by law to tell the government, tell the people that need to know when these things happen. Because when you tell us when these things happen, we know how to prevent it under time. But this goes to show you that regulators also need to play their roles, because that was the whole of 2023, and only 37% of these guys told us that these things happen.
Yeah.
So that means you are not enforcing these establishments.
Well, the CBN did put out a saying, well, that was more for economic reports. They said they'll be putting out PMI, business surveys, and so on. So I take it that they will also step up on that as well. At least we hope to see that. Bolu Abiodun, senior reporter at TechPoint Africa. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.